Yeah, okay, so I I like to watch these Facebook videos and go through the comments and the comments that are really interesting are the ones where people try and put emphasis on, you know, race as a means of why something is or something isn't, in order to make it seem like, I guess, their so-called race is better or smarter or whatever than another. Well, if you really study history, you know that many so-called cultures and or races have contributed to humanity as a whole. No one race has the how would you say, trump card on intelligence or wealth or anything for a very long time or forever. The power changes, and it's going to continue to change until humanity actually learns how to live in harmony, with each other. But one of the funny things about when race is discussed in America, the terms of like who's most violent or who's this and that, each of us have our own categories that we excel in, if you want to place it like that. So, like one of the big ones that I haven't heard much anymore because people are trying to sort of get it, but the big one was like black on black crime, right? That's something that a lot of people would always throw in, when looking for a way to condemn, I guess. But here's the thing: crime is what is known as intraracial, not interracial, but intraracial, which means that proximity plays a part in who's going to steal, kill, rob, or do good by you or whatever. It's all about who you surround yourself with. Now, I could attest to, in terms of homicide, then by all means, African Americans top the chart in homicide. But these homicides are mainly towards other African Americans. So we have a higher rate of homicide. But that's not to say that, other people's or so-called races of homicide, them are much lower or higher. I think the white populace in America, last time I checked the FBI crime data table, sometimes their white on white murder exceeds black on black murder, and they kind of fluctuate between the two. But that's a category that could be thrown out there. Well, if you're going to say black on black crime, then if you said, okay, homicide, okay, I could say that. But then let's say if we got into sexual child predators, right? On average, the largest majority in America of sexual predators are typically, white and Latino males. I don't know if you guys remember that show, To Catch a Predator, where they would have the police officer, whoever agent posed online as an underage child, and they would set him up to come to the house, and the overwhelming majority of the people that were walking through those doors were, white and Latino, and there was also a good percentage of Pakistani and Indian child predators, right? So with that, on that behalf, I guess that they got the monopoly on that shit, right? Well, it is what it is. Now, in terms of murdering your wife or a family member like a brother or sister, if you guys watch show Forensic Files, right, you're going to see that a lot of the perpetrators of those type of murders are white. Now, boy, if you watch the first 48, right, you're going to see a lot of the perpetrators of these homicides are black. So I say if you want to see white crime, you watch the Forensic Files. If you want to see black and or colored crime, you watch the first 48. And it's funny how the two shows are set up, because the Forensic File tries to make it seem like, technical, and it was a mystery, and that motherfucker killed his wife, dude. He killed his son too, right? The first 48, to make that shit seem like, oh my God, it's a war zone. And shit like that is done on purpose to keep the people at odds and confused about, the negative aspects of human culture and our aptitude for barbarism in many instances. You know what I mean? So then if we went even further down the line, like with prostitution, right? Well, black dudes get way too much credit for that shit, because the best pimps or madams that I've seen have been little Chinese Asian women and shit, running massage parlors with fucking major rings across the city. So, they doing major pimping. Black pimps, y'all need to take notes or something when it come to that shit. So, the sex industry, for whether they be sex slaves or forced into prostitution, hands down, man, Asian women had that shit on lock. I was impressed. I'm still impressed by that shit. But we all have certain categories, negative attributes that we may excel in better than others. You know what I mean? Once again, America is a racist, half-ass nation, based off of the white supremacist idea of superiority and or, excellence. So a lot of their shit, people tend to look past for wanting of acceptance with the power structure. But honestly, in my opinion, when you take into consideration what is actually happening with the white power structure and the decline of white dominance, you'll come to the realization, if you're studying it, that it's truly a state of desperation to hang on to something, and a fear of becoming or being treated in a manner that some of them have treated the world in general. You know what I mean? Once again, that shit is what it is. I guess you got to do you. So like shit like that, when you get into I try not to get into conversations like that shit, but I sit back and I watch these YouTube videos and I look at the comments and I look at how, how easily people try to attribute certain qualities to certain peoples and this is that and whatever. And in some instances it's true, and a lot of instances it's bullshit, because nobody is immune from any of that shit. The shit happens like that. It is what it is. But so just a quick one, before I hit the sack. All right, I'm out.